Right, hello and good morning to all the listeners out there. Richard Gow here. So today I want to talk about something that is a little bit more in your control than anything else that's going on right now, is the idea of doing what you can, right? There is so much around us. It's so overwhelming at the moment, and I guess, this applies to normal life in general. But there's so much going on that's out of our control, right? The decisions our governments are making, the decision, health organizations are making, all of those things, they're out of our control. And yeah, I know the temptation is there to talk about this conspiracy theory, or the temptation is to talk about, this idea, and this is what they're doing, and it's all bad. But there's so much power in just bringing yourself back towards yourself. That's something my mom always said to me. She said, bring yourself back towards yourself, Richard. And, the idea of bringing yourself back inwards and just asking yourself, what can I actually do today? Right? Is it upskilling? Is it just working on my own thoughts and what I project into the world? Is it working on, just developing your relationships or developing the relationship with yourself? All these things will lead you forward. They have to. The only difference is that those things will lead you forward with a little bit of more happiness in your heart, a little bit more joy, rather than concentrating on all the negatives. I've heard conspiracy theories about 5G. I've heard conspiracy theories about putting, physical trackers into people through vaccinations. It's a lot. And if you allow your mind to wander on all these things, you start to find reasons around all of these conspiracy theories to make them kind of true in your head. And I guess that's what we do as human beings, to prove to ourselves that we're not mad, that we're not crazy. We search for things to reiterate how we're thinking and how we're feeling. So I guess that's how the law of attraction works, right? If you believe something, you will find reasons, or you will find circumstances in your life to prove that theory. So if you're constantly thinking about negative things, you'll prove yourself right. Always. Because that's the nature of our minds. That's the nature of who we are. No one really likes to think that they're crazy, and no one wants to think that and believe that they are crazy. So we search for all these things. That's where conspiracy theories come up. Everyone's trying to look for these answers, and when they can't find the answers, they figure it out, for want of a better phrase. Or, they read this article, and this article is based on that article, which is based on that person's opinion, which is based on this, and, so on and so forth. But if you concentrate on slightly, more constructive, happier thoughts, you will attract into your life things that reiterate that idea, that support that idea. And that's very, very important to understand and to take forward into the rest of the day, is in your control. How you feel and how you interact with your world is in your control. What kind of conversations that you have, what kind of articles you read, what kind of music you listen to. And I know that that's a lot to think about, and you don't have to filter every single part of your life. But if you're finding that you're overwhelmed and that you can't deal with all this information that's going on, change the frequency, change the channel on that radio station, put something on your iTunes music, or put on another CD that's slightly more upbeat, slightly more hopeful. And, once you start programming yourself and your mind to think hopeful thoughts, to think of solutions, to, seek out these things, you will start to find all that information out there in the things that you read, in the things that you hear, in the conversations that you have. So today, on this beautiful day in Johannesburg, South Africa, I want to just reiterate the point and do what you can. That's all we can do. And that's enough. You are enough. And on that, have a beautiful morning. And if it's evening, have a beautiful evening.